Hello, my name is Michele, and you're listening to Profit is a Choice.
Everything we do begins in our minds. Yep, you heard that right. Our work is based on our thoughts about what we can and cannot accomplish. In today's podcast, we will discuss the mindset that allows us to upscale our design firm. Enjoy.
Every day, empowered entrepreneurs are taking ownership of their company financial health and enjoying the rewards of reduced stress and more creativity. With my background as a financial software developer, owner of multiple businesses in the interior design industry, educator, and speaker, I coach women in the interior design industry to increase their profits, regain ownership of their bottom line, and to have fun again in their business. Welcome to Profit is a Choice.
I've shared on the podcast before that I was greatly impacted by the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. My big takeaway from this book was the simple fact that our actions are predicated on how we see our identity, and that's predicated on our belief system. Now, like you, I knew this. Like in my mind, I knew this. But I had never really taken the time to stop prior to reading the book and really dissect some of my actions and the beliefs and identities that I had assumed that were at play behind them. And when I did this work, my eyes were open to the fact that some of my beliefs were actually self-sabotaging beliefs, and they needed to change. I also remembered all the way back to a day in 2003 when I was doing my taxes from 2002, and I saw that there was a business loss. Part of the work to get this whole business thing back on track was for me to stop identifying as a hobbyist and to start identifying as a business owner. And when I changed what I believed about who I was and what I was doing, everything else changed. In our time together today, I want to share with you some of the biggest mindset hurdles that you should consider as you work to upscale your business. These aren't in any particular order, and you might feel one way one day and another way another day, so you might go back and forth through these as you move forward in life and business. So feel free to revisit them regularly. Number one, the first one is fear. Everybody feels fear. And if somebody tells you they feel absolutely no fear, you need to be afraid of them. And although we each feel fear, it can certainly show up differently for all of us. Many look at me and they just see confidence. And yes, I have that, but I also have my own fair share of fears. And when I think back on how I have allowed fear to rule over me in the past and how I've seen my clients allow it to rule over them, I'm going to give you some examples of what that might look like. One was the fear of being seen as a failure. I cannot tell you how many times this thought comes up. I hear it all the time. Somebody's going to think I'm a failure. What will they think if this happens? So consumed by how other people are looking in to our businesses. And I'm sure that social media and us putting kind of our lives out on display for everybody has fed into that. But I'm going to tell you the big question is, so what? Just because we may fail when we try something doesn't mean that we are personally a failure. If the worst thing that happens is that we tried and we failed, we can ask ourselves, okay, so what did we also learn? Episode 1 of my entire podcast was with Syl DeGuglielmo, and she was talking all about fear and how it stopped her until she got control of it. Check that out if you want more information. Another fear that I hear is fear of not knowing my financials. Oh, now we're getting real with that, aren't we? Because many tell me they fear knowing and understanding and using their financials. Some tell me they don't want to know them. They're afraid of it because of what it's going to say to them, right? So what is the story the financials are telling? You hear me talk about that all the time. And here is my answer. We're all fearful in some ways of what we don't know. But once we make a choice, you hear me, make a choice to learn about our financials and to manage them, some of the fear subsides and it actually becomes replaced with confidence and excitement. I know you're thinking I'm crazy when I say that, but I promise you it is true. We start to understand how the numbers are put together and how we can use them for our benefit instead of feeling taken hostage or captive by the numbers and numbers we don't even know. I actually offer 3 financial courses to help solve this fear. The first is Pricing Without Emotion, then Understanding Your Financials, and Master Your Profit. Taking these courses are going to kick the fear of financials to the curb, and you can find all of these on my website of scarlettthreadconsulting.com. The third is the fear of being an imposter. And, maybe we've all felt that way at some point, like we didn't know everything. And honestly, as we progress in our businesses, we're going to continue to not know everything. That's what growth is all about. The minute we know it all, then we're no longer stretching and growing. So learn to lean into the not knowing instead of being afraid of it. Cultivate a team around you who knows more than you do and who can assist. This could be your own employees, subcontractors, peer group, Facebook groups, a coach, a consultant, whatever. Have your team of people that you can ask questions to. The next big mindset hurdle is actually success. How we see success begins to create an identity for us. Some people see success as making a lot of sales and having a really high revenue for the firm. Others see success as serving clients well and getting repeat business. Some see success just by getting a lot of kudos. Success can also be determined by growing your teams and employees, building stronger people, as well as how many times you've been published or how many likes or shares you have on social media. Ask yourself, what determines success for you, and are you measuring it? For me, success is made up of a few areas. Client success using my systems, having the money to support my family, and making a larger impact on the world around me by using my gifts and talents. I feel very successful when those I am supporting are also successful. And that's my biggest driver, to be of service. I want you to define what constitutes success for you and measure it. Ask yourself if you maybe need to redefine success in a season of your life. There was a point in time that success to me was just to be able to keep my business going while working less in it to serve a need in my own family. It wasn't to make more. It honestly was to survive the season. Maybe some of you know what I'm talking about. So when considering scaling, ask yourself, how much is enough? What are you really striving for, and at what cost? And what are you willing to do and not do to attain that outcome? But we need to be careful that we're not always measuring our success against everybody else, but against what we want, really knowing what you want. The third mindset that I want you to think about and hurdle that you might have to work through is intentionality. Being intentional about doing everything and anything has been a game changer for me. And it's a mindset that needs to be firmly rooted and established. Intentionality comes from knowing what you are doing and why you're doing it. Being in the moment and recognizing the derivative actions or outcomes from a choice. I get it. Sometimes we have to make decisions off the cuff, just like make it and keep moving. And we all do that, but that should not be our norm. Many people ask me how to be proactive in business instead of that reactive, always having to put out fires mindset. And proactiveness, if that's even a word, is created by knowing your processes and systems and anticipating what comes next. It's like knowing how everything is strung together, knowing the outcome that you want, and then making choices and decisions that lead you towards that desired outcome. Learn to be intentional in your company plans, intentional in your hiring, your management and leadership activities, marketing, and in your financial activities. And then be intentional when you're with your family or with your friends so that work is on the side and you are intentionally with them. If I could tell you that anything in my business and in my life shifted, it was when I chose to be intentional. And that doesn't mean that we're putting you in a box, but it means that you're doing things with thought. You're doing things because you've thought about it, not because you're just reacting. The fourth mindset, kind of hurdle, if you will, is being action-oriented. Sometimes we can get seriously overwhelmed with all that there is to do to own and operate these businesses that we've created. I get it. I feel the same way. Instead of letting this feeling stop me, I try to let it propel me, meaning push me to take action. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. This does not always mean big action, nor does it mean perfect action. It means moving forward ever so slightly. And after a while, you'll start to gain traction. Choosing a mindset of taking action, even imperfect action, will keep you from staying stuck. The action might be to walk away for a few minutes. It might be to phone a friend. Maybe your action is to do the next thing in front of you in the best way that you know how. Or it could be to raise the big white flag of surrender and ask for help. We're not going to know everything in front of us. We're not always going to have the perfect team with the perfect project, perfect timing, and perfect outcomes. And truthfully, I'm not sure that's even a situation that can exist. We are imperfect people working with imperfect solutions to difficult problems most of the time. And so staying intentional and action-oriented is what creates success. Do something. Creating a mindset to scale and grow means reviewing the mindsets that you currently have through the lens of where you want to be and what you want to be doing. Are they supportive of you getting there, or are they holding you back? What do you believe about yourself or your team, your clients? What do you believe about the options that you have? And is it true? It is really easy to deceive ourselves when we're in protection mode so that we won't be hurt or disappointed. But that deception for protection can easily hold us back from opportunities to be all that we can be and to participate in ways that are exciting or fresh and new. And I want to encourage you to break out of the mold of the mindsets that are not currently supporting you. Interestingly, I've been in positions where I couldn't see my own mindset as holding me back. It took my coach questioning me and asking me what informed that thought or my mindset around it. What was the thought process that I was working in and going through? And it made me take a serious look at my beliefs and identity around the mindset that I'd created. And more than once, I found out that the one thing that I said I did not want to do or would not do was the one thing keeping me from what I said I most wanted or desired in my business. And I had to work through that thought process, that mindset, to realign my goals and my beliefs. And this is an activity that I try to do often and one that I use to support my clients. If you're interested in working with a coach who can help you see what you cannot see alone, I'd love to assist you. You can go to scarletthreadconsulting.com and check out the masterclass under resources that will show you how to reclaim your time, make more money, and regain control of your business. And then set up a time for us to talk on a discovery call to see if coaching is right for you. Go ahead, take action. Be intentional about your success and give me a call. Choose to be profitable, because profit doesn't happen by accident. Profit is a Choice is proud to be part of the designnetwork.org, where you can discover more design media reaching creative listeners. Thanks for listening, and stay creative and business minded.